Hi, my name is Zachary Sensenig, and I'm doing a podcast on the SS United States. I decided on this topic because I wanted to think outside of the box and do something that no one has ever done before. I chose to do my podcast on the SS United States, as said before. A monstrous ship retired in Philadelphia. The ship is located in Philadelphia where it is retired for life. Many people know of this ship as it is down by the IKEA in Pensport. It is a wonder how large this beautiful ship is. William Francis Gibbs was the designer of the marvel that is now the SS United States. I'm going to talk a little bit about William Francis Gibbs, the designer. Ironically, Gibbs was born in Philadelphia, where the ship is sitting today. On August 21st, 1886, he was born. From a young age, Gibbs expressed a deep interest in ships. Gibbs dropped out of Harvard engineering and then tried again in economics, which he excelled at. All of a sudden, Gibbs's rich father went bankrupt, so he could no longer attend college. Soon enough, Gibbs was admitted into Columbia and studied law, even though he still enjoyed ships and engineering. Gibbs secretly studied engineering in the evenings, just out of the books. When he graduated, Gibbs created a naval engineering firm and recruited sharp-minded workers like him. He married Vera Cravath, whose father was one of the most powerful lawyers in New York, according to the Harvard magazine. Gibbs and Cox, the naval engineering firm name they made almost 70% of all the Navy ships that were in World War II. They were very successful. Gibbs designed the revolutionary Mahan-class destroyers, the first combat vessels to use high-pressure, temperature steam turbines, according to the Harvard magazine. In 1946, Gibbs went back to Harvard, but now he was well known for his work as an naval engineer. He had also received a Phi Beta Kappa key because of his work for the war. But yet another great achievement was on the way for Gibbs, because that same year he started to plan the American superliner that he had always pondered and tussled with in his mind. The ship was finished in 1952, and it is a wonder for his time and all generations to come. And this ship is obviously the SS United States. Now I'm going to talk about a lot more about the SS United States itself. The SS United States was about 12 city stories high and 3 football fields long, according to the Harvard magazine. To say the least, this boat was freakishly large, and not just that, but it was insanely fast. Upon her delivery to the United States lines, the SS United States was most graceful, modern, powerful, and sleekest vessel in the world. With her 2 oversized red, white, and blue funnels, she projected a powerful and romantic image of maritime travel, and one that recalled the first great record-breaking liners of the 20th century. That was quoted from the SS United States Conservancy. We'll talk about them a little bit later. William Francis Gibbs was ingenious with his design and was so clever that he made the entire ship fireproof, except for the grand pianos and kitchen cutting boards, but those the company insisted. No wood was permitted in any of the ship's public rooms, accommodations, or crew quarters. Even the fabric and textiles were specially treated to be non-flammable. That is from the SS United States Conservancy also. And wait, remember the Titanic? That was huge, right? Well, the SS United States was 100 feet longer and didn't sink. Ha! Just to give you some perspective, the SS United States is 990 feet long, about 5 city blocks. If you stood on her end, she'd rise nearly as high as New York's Chrysler Building or Philadelphia's Comcast Center, according to the SS United States Conservancy. Because the Cold War was happening at the time of the building of the SS United States, the military paid for 2/3 of the $78 million cost. The military did this so if the Cold War happened, the ship would quickly become a 15,000 soldier fitting troop ship. July 3rd, 1952 was the maiden voyage of the SS United States. Here's an account of that journey. On July 3rd, 1952, the SS United States set forth on her much anticipated maiden voyage, timed to coincidence with the national 4th of July celebrations. Her commander, Commodore Harry Manning, a celebrity in his own right, who had been a co-pilot of Amelia Earhart, carefully avoided any promises of a record-breaking run, especially when the ship encountered a fog bank during the first day out. Once clear of the hazard, Commodore Manning, with typical bravado, ordered the ship's engines to be increased to full power. The ship's speed, combined with the gale force winds and heavy seas, created on-deck conditions that kept most passengers inside, or at least in enclosed promenades. So strong was the wind speed that the adventurous few who did venture out into the open decks likened facing forward to being punched in the face. Miraculously, the dreaded vibrations expected on high-speed liners was virtually absent, even when the ship attained her highest ever service speed of 36 knots. Just before 6:30 in the morning on July 7th, all 3 whistles of the SS United States simultaneously blasted the news that the ship had shattered all eastbound speed records despite the adverse weather conditions. Many of the passengers and crew were still awake, and the ship's all-night gala turned into a jubilant celebration. Gibbs' long-awaited liner had chopped a full 10 hours off the previous record, crossing in 3 days, 10 hours, and 40 minutes. That account was brought to you by the SS United States Conservancy website. The ship immediately became widely known as America's flagship. Many celebrities and important figures of the time were part of the steady flow of passengers that boarded the fastest, most luxurious ship in the world. These famous passengers of the time included Marlon Brando, Coco Chanel, Sean Connery, Gary Cooper, Walter Cronkite, Salvador Dali, Walt Disney, Duke Ellington, Judy Garland, Cary Grant, Charlton Heston, Bob Hope, Marilyn Monroe, Harry Truman, Prince Rainier and Grace Kelly, Elizabeth Taylor, John Wayne, and the Duke and the Duchess of Windsor, according to the SS United States Conservancy. Now I'm going to talk about the retirement of the SS United States. When the SS United States stopped its service in 1969, it was very sudden, and the purpose of the ship became uncertain. The ship was a reserve for the Navy from 1969 to 1978, but never had to leave from the harbor. It was ready to be used during that time period, but there weren't any situations where it was needed. In 1978, the Navy realized that they didn't need the ship anymore and sold it to anyone who had the money. These owners each bought the ship at certain times with important plans for it, which actually didn't work out. This is all according to the SS United States Conservancy. The first person who bought it was Richard Hadley of Seattle, who planned to convert the vessels into seagoing timeshare condominiums. After his financing collapsed, he had the ship's interior fittings auctioned off in 1984. Fred Meyer, who bought the ship in 1992, sought to create a running mate for Cunard's QE2. He had the ship towed to Turkey and then to Ukraine for hazardous material removal, and then towed back to Philadelphia in 1966, where she has remained since. Edward Cantor bought the ship with dreams of returning it into a seagoing service. The ship was put up for sale after his death in 2002. Norwegian Cruise Line purchased the vessel in 2003 and announced plans to rehabilitate the ship as part of its American-flagged cruise service. The global economic crisis caused these plans to founder, and the vessel was again listed for sale in 2009. This is all according to the SS United States Conservancy website. To this day, the SS United States is still harbored in Philadelphia, but this time it's owned by a conservancy who are looking to preserve this ship and the valuable history it holds, which is the SS United States Conservancy. Here are some fun facts from the conservancy that now owns the ship, the SS United States. Despite her faded appearance, the SS United States remains structurally sound to this day, a testament to the design, materials, and workmanship that made her the greatest American passenger liner of all time. A famous passenger of a different sort sailed aboard the SS United States in 1963, the Mona Lisa. Leonardo's masterpiece was traveling to the U.S. for special exhibitions in Washington and New York. For her maiden voyage, the SS United States stocked 7,935 quarts of ice cream and a whopping 500 pounds of caviar. 4 U.S. presidents sailed aboard the SS United States: Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John Kennedy, and Bill Clinton. Built to be converted from luxury liner to troop transport in the event of war, SS United States was able to carry 15,000 troops, 10,000 miles without refueling. More aluminum was used in the SS United States than for any previous construction project in history. Why? To reduce her weight and make her the fastest ocean liner of all time. Thank you for listening to my podcast on the SS United States. I hope you enjoyed it.